Okay, so now I have both of these unit 8s all sewn and pressed, and now we're going to sew the 2 big halves together. Before we do that, I wanted to show you, just to make sure they come together nicely without any like fullness in the center of your quilt. I want to make sure that you trim this edge. That edge needs to be straight on both of your pieces so it sews together nice and flat. And also you need to have a 1/4 inch from the edge of your piece to the point where these seams all come together. So make sure, I like to line up a straight line on my ruler with this center seam, and then put your 1/4 inch mark where at the point where those seams come together, and then I'm just going to trim that off. It's not very much, but we just want to make sure that these are straight. Kind of hard to do at that angle, but okay. So that one's trimmed. I'm gonna go get my other one and we'll trim that one too. Okay. I'm going to line up that seam with this line, and then the 1/4 inch line on my ruler should be right where the point where those seams come together. And it also takes some of the bulk away from the center seam if you have some dog ears there. Okay, now we are going to put these 2 pieces right sides together. Before we start pinning, we need to make our 1/4 inch marks along these 2 edges. And that's where we are going to start and stop that seam. Okay, there's that one. Okay, so first I'm going to pin the center, and we're going to do that just like I showed you before with keeping the center pin vertical. So first pin through the point where all those seams come together, and then it should come through where they're all coming together on the front, and then pin through the same place on the bottom, and it should come through the back in the same place. So then, since now your edges are lined up, now leave that pin vertical and put 2 pins on either side, pretty close, as close as you can. And then you can take that center pin out. So you have that one ready to go. Now we are going to line up our edges, smooth everything out again. Okay, smooth it out, don't stretch it out. Then pin through that point where the 2 lines intersect, and then 1 more pin to keep it in place, then do the same thing on the other side. Just carefully smooth it out without stretching. Okay, so we are going to start sewing here, stitch a couple stitches, then back stitch, then stop your seam here and back stitch. Then we will press our seam open, And then you can sew the last two unit 2s, just like we sewed to these sections. Okay, so this is exactly how we want the center seam to look. You can see all my seams are coming together at a nice point there. And I press my seam open. So now we just have these 2 sections to sew, which is the exact same steps as the first 2 we sewed. So I won't be showing the step-by-step because it's the same as before. So if you need to check out those, that section of the video, go check that out. And then after we have those sections and press our seams, you can sew your borders if you're adding borders to your quilt. So here I have my finished quilt top, which is really exciting. Well, not quite finished because I need to add the extra background to the outside. So since I used fat quarters for my background, I'm going to use the extra to make a scrappy border. So what I'm going to do is just cut 2-inch width strips and piece them together. So normally if you're making the small throw, you need 4 2-inch by width of fabric strips. So I'm just gonna piece together what I need with my extra pieces for my fat quarters. So if you're making borders, go ahead and follow those instructions. On pages 97 shows the cuts that you need. And then on page 99 and 100, you can see how to add those borders. So I'm going to work on this and I'll show you once it's all done.